Giovanna Fletcher was named Queen of the Castle during Emma Celebrities Live final on Friday, which took place at Gwrych Castle in Abergele, North Wales, for the first time in the show's 20-year history. The author, 35, went up against Vernon Kay and Jordan North to win the title, and was left in complete shock as it was revealed she'd come out on top after 12 million votes had been cast. Gushing about her win, she sat on a plush throne and said, "I can't believe it. People have picked up their phones and voted. I'm just blown away. I can't believe it. It's been the most amazing experience, ask me in a week." Ever gracious in defeat, Jordan said it was, "Absolutely fantastic. I couldn't be runner-up to anyone better, the most genuine kindest person I've ever met." Vernon crowned Giovanna, saying it was his honor to name her the first ever Queen of the Castle as 2019 winner. Jacqueline Jossa was unable to attend the ceremony as is usually tradition due to COVID-19 restrictions. After it was revealed he had come in third, Vernon hugged his competitors and said, "Well done you two, I've had the best time, you've been awesome." Before being announced the winner, Giovanna and Jordan chatted to co-presenters Ant McPartlin and Declan Donnelly, and she said, "Honestly, I've laughed so much, it's been more than I ever thought it would be." Still by hand double-breasted blazer shop the brand. By now Ant McPartlin looked very dapper for the final of Emma Celebrity. Styled by Emma Salmon, the presenter was decked out in a still-by-hand jacket, Burberry shirt, trousers by Kaz and boots by Grinson. No wardrobe is complete without a couple of staple blazers and, as far as we're concerned, Ant ticks all the boxes. Made in versatile navy, it incorporates notched lapels, a single-breasted front and flap pockets. Sadly, it isn't available to purchase online, but don't worry. We have rallied up the best variations below. You can even complete your look with Ant's Grinson boots. Keen to see more from Still by Hand? Click right to shop the current collection. The presenters commented on how she was the mother of the camp, and she said, "Having 3 kids I am very maternal," before adding, "I always thought being the mumsy one is a negative but it's not." Giovanna also discussed how she helped to cook in the camp throughout her time on the show, admitting that being hungry all the time would sometimes fray their nerves. She explained, "Everyone is looking and watching and they're hungry, strange things come to camp that we have to cook. One night when it was particularly all eyes on it but once everyone knew to back off, we're doing what we can. Then they were fine." Giovanna's husband Tom Fletcher took to Instagram to share a video alongside their eldest son Buzz, as they watched the final together and waited in anticipation to hear who had won. When the announcement was made, the pair shouted in delight as Buzz said, "Mommy won! Mommy won!" The pair then shared a video together where they gushed she did it and shared their gratitude to fans who had voted for Giovanna, as Buzz smiled with glee and said, "Thanks everyone for voting." During his interview, Jordan said of his time on the show, "Stupidly I thought I could get away with doing trials and at best come out midway, and then I spewed on a cliff. I thought anything with snakes, heights, or tight spaces I couldn't do but I did. My confidence grew massively and I felt I could take on whatever was coming next," he went on as he reflected on the show, before adding, "These trials are horrible, they aren't as easy as they look on TV. They are awful." Talking to Ant and Dec about coming third place, Vernon said he was over the moon to get so far in the show, as he praised the awesome camp. He admitted he was surprised to get so far, as he said there was some really strong characters in there. He added, "Last night was a real shock with Shane. It was a real shock because he propped up morale in the camp, blowing a trumpet out of his backside. We've had a lot of dips collectively, to be lifted by him has been brilliant." Gushing about the show, he went on, "It was everything and more, it really was everything and more, and I think if anyone gets asked to do it in the future don't even hesitate. There's something about being in a confined space with 11 strangers, you have to naturally be yourself. If you try to be something you're not, you can't keep it up, you can't. The best thing about this camp is everyone was themselves." Vernon said he did think he made his daughters proud by getting third, as he went on, "Third place for me is more than my expectations. It's been phenomenal. I think I'm going to take stuff out of that camp, I really am." When asked to pick who he'd choose to win, Vernon was hesitant as he felt Giovanna had been there for everyone during the show, but eventually picked Jordan for his journey. After Shane Ritchie's departure on Thursday, the trio were in shock as they said goodbye to the EastEnders star, with Giovanna saying his humor and stories has kept many of us going, while Jordan claimed Shane was his pick to win the show. Vernon said he was in complete and utter shock with the result, and added, "Has been a top bloke. It means the world for me that I'm in the final. I'm flabbergasted." Growing teary-eyed, he told his wife, Tess Daly, and their daughters Phoebe and Amber, "Tess, I love you baby, forever and ever, and girls, I hope I made you proud." Reflecting on being in the final, Giovanna joked that if she won the show she'd just have everyone call me Queen from now on. Vernon was given a terrifying task for his final trial, as he took part in the Table of Torment, which saw him get strapped down and covered in a variety of critters as well as rotten fruit and vegetables. The endurance test saw Vernon play for the starters of their final dinner, with the first 3 stars for the meal, a 4th for a drink, and a 5th for a treat of his choice. Vernon was shackled to the table for a total of 10 minutes, and every 2 minutes he endured while covered in the bugs and other detritus earned him 1 star. Shocked by the horrendous smell of the rotten fruit and vegetables, Vernon told Deccan and McPartlin, "Oh my God, that's disgusting, that stinks." Despite the uncomfortable feeling, and biting critters, Vernon endured the full 10 minutes by singing to himself and thus earned all the stars, as he claimed, "That is the most horrific thing I've ever done in my entire life." Giovanna ate a bull's penis as Vernon was covered in bugs while strapped to a table for their last trials during the show's finale, which saw each of the stars take part in one last grueling task. The author competed in the frightening feast trial so that she could try and win stars that would provide the main meals for her, Vernon, and Jordan's final dinner together in the camp. During her grueling challenge, Giovanna was tasked with also eating a fermented duck egg, a cow's nose, raw fish eye, sheep's testicle. In an amusing moment, Giovanna powered through the trial and ate everything quickly as she commented that she hadn't gagged yet despite eating the duck's egg and cow's nose with ease. She then had the testicle served up on a silver platter, and she claimed it was disappointing on the lamb front as Aunt asked if it tasted testically. Giovanna quipped back, "Of the testicles I've had in my mouth," and Deck told any kids who were watching from home that it was time for bed now. The first 3 stars were for the main meals while the 4th would account for a drink, while the 5th and final star counted towards a treat of Giovanna's choice. Giovanna had to eat the fermented duck egg first, which co-host Declan Donnelly joked, "I've done this, I'm so sorry, it's quite bad." Despite the edible horrors in front of her, Giovanna took her time with them, including 17 minutes to eat the testicle, but she managed to successfully complete the trial and win all of the stars. It was Jordan's job to earn the desserts for their final meal, and to do so he took the Iron Maiden on for his final trial in the camp. The radio presenter was locked inside a cage for 10 minutes as snakes were lowered in with him, and every 2 minutes he endured meant he would win a star, the first 3 for their meals, while the other 2 could be used for a drink and treat. While he was in the cage with the slithering creatures, Jordan cried out, "Oh God, it's a snake. Happy place. Happy place. I'm going to be drinking gin with Bev in Spain." Jordan tried to keep his mind occupied while he completed the trial, and although he was shaking while the snakes slid over him, he engaged Ant and Deck in conversation, even asking them to sign his books if he managed to complete the task. Despite his fears, Jordan managed to successfully complete the trial, which meant their final dinner was a veritable feast. After their arduous tasks, Giovanna, Jordan and Vernon all sat down for one last meal together, which consisted of their favorite foods after winning all of the stars. Giovanna tucked into bruschetta, fish and chips, apple crumble with custard, red wine and chocolate for her starter, main meal, and dessert. While Vernon enjoyed a feast of a prawn cocktail, chicken and sweet potato mash, treacle sponge, a cup of tea and sourdough bread with marmite and cottage cheese. Jordan was delighted with his meal of a prawn cocktail, corned beef hash, and angel delight for his starter, main and dessert, while he also enjoyed a Guinness and peanut butter cups. Ahead of the show, co-hosts Ant and Deck shared an amusing snap alongside Kiosk Ledwin, which they put together with the magic of Photoshop to ensure they remained a safe distance apart. In the picture, the Geordie duo smiled brightly while looking at their stony-faced friend, who stared straight into the camera with his arms crossed. Copying his signature stance, Ant laughed in delight while Deck couldn't help but grin as they marked the final day of 2020's edition of the show. They wrote in the caption, "Thanks for the bants, Kiosk Ledwin. You had big shoes to fill and miserably fill them you did." The magic of Photoshop meant we, luckily, didn't have to stand 2 meters away from him.